Why do you think are carpenters, I guess, the most unappreciated in the trade in terms of, wages? And it seems like a lot of the people that I talk to, you are there from the beginning all the way through to the end, and there's a lot of things that don't happen without carpenters on site. So where do you think that comes from, and when does this pay disparity, end?
Yeah, so maybe it comes from, I guess, being a builder and then carpenter by trade, but then all of our carpenters under us just end up being like a builder's carpenter almost. So the idea, the intent is we just need the project to keep moving. And unfortunately, that's where the carpenters, if they're in-house or the contract, they're always available and they're generally on site. So it's like, all right, can you do this, can you do that? And it's outside the carpentry skill set. But again, looking at the project schedule, you go, all right, we need it moving. So I think that's just where, they just get lumped with a lot of tasks and try to just keep it moving. But unfortunately, I think with the pay, because they are seen right throughout the job, it makes it hard, because when you start seeing carpentry invoices and then costs, which just blow out throughout the project, whereas plumbers, electricians, even other specialised trades, they just come in and out. So even though they're on a higher rate, it's probably not as noticeable. As carpenters that way too.
Yeah, okay. For the whole quoting process, I'm always interested to hear how different businesses sort of manage that side. So you get your inquiries, do a bulk of them come through just through Instagram or your website, or is it word of mouth?
So majority of our client, or most of our work is referrals or sort of repeat customers. So with that, we've got a couple of clients that we keep going back on stage 4 or stage 5, and that's just over a couple of years. We'll renovate or we'll do a task, and then we're back the next year and following on, or we just stick with them and then we stay within their family. We've got another client that will do work for their house, but then also their family house, and then other siblings. So it's really nice when it's sort of we keep within that, but then we still get a few new leads come through, and I think trying to show what value you have sometimes is what is probably the hardest part about the project, and then winning that client too, because some clients are just looking on price and trying to distinguish and go, what they actually need is to understand their overall proposal, because if you're just looking at price, I think you're going to make the wrong decision too sometimes.
I was going to say, how do you differentiate, you're putting together a quote or a tender, whatever it might be, how do you sort of showcase to the client that that the price is what it is because of the quality of the work, and there might be some cheaper quotes out there, but they're not necessarily going to do things to the level of detail, and is that sort of what you end up sort of instilling the client to?
I think a lot of it is always set from when they're getting their quotes, their proposals in, because no doubt some clients will get a one-page quote saying as per plans, and here's the price. Whereas we really break down our proposals, and we'll have either site meetings, client meetings. Sometimes we'll even bring in trades and get them on site just to formalise their quote. But our proposal will broken down per trade, or sometimes per room, depending on what the project is. And so potentially our proposal can be 20, 30 pages, and it's try to break it down almost per step, per key item for each task. And then I think at least that way they can start saying, well, if we're putting in this much detail and attention right from the start just for a proposal, then that will translate to the detail on site too.
And was that something that you learned over time, or did you get it from another builder, or was it, I know that you've actually done a lot of upskilling yourself and you're very interested in continuously learning about things. So did it come from any kind of coaching that you had, or where did this sort of process start?
I think it was more just about trying to make things easier, more simplified, and then also just a better outcome for the client. So we used to use a couple of different software packages, and then as we've grown as well, or as I want more, then we keep looking elsewhere, and we find new software packages. Got a really good one at the moment, but even that I still not using for the full sort of capability that it has. So we're across a couple of different programs.
Well, what do you use? You're welcome to. There's no.
So for our on-site project management and client portal, we've got Buildertrend, which is sort of American-based, high expense, but well worth it. And then for our proposals, we use Wonderbuild. And then accounting software, we use Xero. So I know some of them, you can still double up, and we do pay a premium because I'm sure we could use one platform to generally cover a lot of that. But this is kind of what works for me. I think that works.
I was going to say as well, so I've heard of Wonderbuild before, and I haven't heard of the American one, but I know that there's plenty of businesses out there that use, they might have 4 or 5 different softwares that they use for their business, and sometimes they're not necessarily getting the value out of it that they might need, for the takeoffs, or if it's for their timesheets, whatever it might be. What was it within your business that showed that it was worth the money for what you were getting, and it sort of, what was it, saving you time on certain things as well?
Yeah, so the biggest shift, which is why we moved to Buildertrend, was more about how can we better the overall project, and that's whether it's schedule, contractors, clients, even our in-house system. So the advantage I think with Buildertrend is that there's different aspects. So from sort of subby to subby work, it's all there. So we upload their details and we just schedule them. They get notifications as soon as we book them, and then they get the prior notification as well. We expect them to do like daily logs, and that's images, description, so that helps us with our scheduling. And then we can see on the project, are we on track? Where are they at? What do they get sort of completed for the day? And then one of the other biggest features was like the client portal. So for any of our clients, like they can see live time the actual schedule.
Yeah.
It's got its own personalised email inbox. So like for each of our projects, customised inbox, so at least we're not losing, missing emails or things like that too. And there's also the sort of documents and file share too. So from our perspective, one platform generally in-house, which helps the on-site project management.
Yeah.
I think that helps, and we use Dropbox for our cloud base, which we've got a lot of data just because of a lot of projects, and we take thousands of photos throughout the job. So
we've always been very meticulous about photo taking and documentation, and because there's so many people out there that are note in a pad, and they take a few photos and then that's it. Has that just always been?
I think record keeping is a big one for me. I like to be systemised, organised, and I think that's where, like say scheduling, I love it. And that's where one of my windows on my computer is just it's the schedule, and I just alternate per job. But being able to see it, and I have to look at it in like a monthly view as opposed to like Gantt chart or a list. For some reason, I like to see per month, and I can see each day from there. But that really helps just to stay on track, and then forecast any potential lead time issues, or making sure that we're on track too, and keep accountability for people.